Just getting set up. Okay, everything is muted except for me. Okay. So way off topic, but the 5th drop of UFO files came out today. I already downloaded it, but if you're interested, just go to war.gov/UFO and you can see all the releases if you're interested. So it's war.gov/UFO, and you could see how they released all this stuff. You click on here, you can go to all the releases up to date. So today was the latest. Have I looked at any of this stuff? No. What's up, Isaac? What's up, Thomas and Marianne? So this is way off topic, I know, but they dropped another one today. And you can download them in entirety, in bulk, right here. The videos, the documents are separate. You click on them. I already did it, so I'm not doing it again. But yeah, if you're interested in that stuff, they dropped another one today. Just saying. And good morning. What's up, Chris? What time did I go to bed last night? And I'm already awake and already like done. See, I even showered and shaved today. Shaved. It's so refreshing. And then the cup of coffee, nice. Good morning, Morgan. And all up in you. Oh my God, that made me feel really guilty now. Oh my God, one cup of coffee and a cigarette in the other. Dr. Greer predicted this, Bill. I'm sure you know what I mean. Oh, don't get me started with that dude. Really? You're going to refer to Greer? I mean, back in 2001, and sadly, I lost a friend, Dan Willis, a month or so ago, who was part of that hearing, that disclosure hearing. Greer was doing incredible stuff back then. Now when I hear that he's doing these CE5s and charging people thousands of dollars, and there's rules they must abide to when they're part of these things, and I'm like, I don't know about that. That's a big flag for me. Again, just because of that, it's a major flag for me. With anything he does. That's just me. And I'm talking, go check it out. Go see what it costs, and there's rules that you must abide to. You must show up at the presentations. They can throw you off the site, all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Dude, go look at like what the next event is, what they're charging, and the rules. That's all I'm saying. When I saw that, first of all, it's super expensive for people. Secondly, it's woo-woo as fuck. That's all. Don't get me off on a different tangent, Isaac. Yes, Chris. That's kind of where I'm going. You've seen it all? So I'll just leave that alone. It's too early in the morning for that. But it looks like, do you know why it's so quiet? I kind of was thinking about this morning before I came on. And it might be, all right, wait, let me just check what they're putting out here. Because I was going to bed last night, they were striking Saudi targets. Oh shit. Explosions rocked the capital of Slovakia with plumes of smoke rising. What the fuck? I don't know. Slovakia? What's this up? What's up with this? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into this later. Slovakia. Shit is gonna spread. This is an Israeli reporter, Amir, reporting this, okay? Unconfirmed. This could be interesting developments. This could eventually lead to breaking news. Yeah, information is free. Amir is saying multiple sources inside Iran confirm that Iran's new supreme leader, Moshtaba, has been rushed to the hospital and is in critical condition. Now, we could look at this two ways. First, he's not in critical. He's always been a cardboard figure, and now they're saying they're rushing him to the hospital. I'm just coming up with a scenario to say he's dead, but he's always been dead, but now they're covering it that he's been rushed to a hospital and he's in critical and then being pronounced dead. Right? Is that not a possibility? Like, they're saying that he was rushed in critical to a hospital. Only I could see this as a scenario. To be pronounced dead, but he's always been dead, so this makes it official he's dead. Is that not possible? If this is true? That he's been rushed to the hospital in critical? I'm just saying, I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory, but I would not pass. That's the immediate thing I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Slovakia is a NATO country. That's why I brought it up, Chris. That's why I'm like, what the hell? Expansion. Looks like a photo. A lot of this videos and they look very similar. So, you take that with whatever it's worth. Let me see something. Oh yeah, and they're displaying. They have on display. The Iranians are displaying images of stuff of ours, allegedly, and they're showing it off. Let me show you. Remember the F-15 with the two pilots? Well, they're displaying this, the remains of that aircraft. Oh, there's more. There's more. I just gotta. That could be a piece of a drone, a Reaper. But look how they got all the look how they got all the pieces spread out on display. And what is that back there? Is that their prize? It sure looks like it is. So this is what they're doing. This is the meeting that happened earlier between the Saudis. You can see Erdogan there, MBS, and the Pakistani president, or I don't know who he is. I don't recognize him by face. And this is they're claiming this is an Israeli drone that they pretty much got intact. Again, this is what they're putting out there this morning. I'm just saying, take it for what it is. This is what they're pushing this morning. And I'm trying to find out that quote they put out earlier. I'm trying to figure out who was the one that put it out. Okay, here it is. Spokesperson for Iran's Parliamentary National Security Commission said that the general framework of an agreement with Oman has been determined and the final text and details will be announced soon. We are waiting for the final agreement and a joint statement that will clarify many of the outlines. I think that's why the president has been quiet. It could be for other reasons. Everybody's waiting to see what the actual deal is between Oman and Iran, the outline, the agreement, and then you might see the reaction. So I think that's what everybody's waiting for, this Iran-Oman agreement to be publicized and put out there. Forget about the other thing that they're working on, the parliament. No Israeli U.S. ships or enemy ships. Like, oh my God. They want full compensation for all damages by countries that were involved before they're allowed to flow through. All kinds of stuff. We'll see. But that's like the latest that's going on. What's up, John and Chantal and Dehydrated? Fred. With a little bit of crazy go, they can rebuild their Air Force. I don't think, but remember, the Russians are waiting to send a shipment in. I forgot what it was, Su-35s? I mean, it's not anything that's a match to our Air Force, and they haven't even trained in them. Was it Su-35s? Yeah. To replace the planes they've lost. The planes they've lost. Well, they were building it, now they're ready to deliver. They're ready. So good luck. Good luck. I'll just put one article. Iran-Russian fighters are reportedly built and still sitting in Russia. What's the date on this? Oh, this is recent. August 2nd, 2026. So there you go. Allegedly, there they are. They're waiting to be delivered. I'd hit them as soon as they land. Or even yet, well, there might be Russian pilots in it. As soon as they're put anywhere, boom, bye-bye. Because that's what's going to happen. They're not going to make it. Do they even have the bunkers to hold these? I don't know if they have, not bunkers. But that's something to keep an eye on. But I guess that deal happened earlier, so they're not selling them. Maybe they already paid for them. Because the president said Russia's not selling Iran or China weapons to Iran. Well, those are on back order. Does those count? I'm just saying. Cash on delivery? What's up, Kava? Do you remember the first attack? He was killed then because the IRGC displayed photos of his... Yes! I showed that photo where they had it, a memorial, and he was on it. I think it was in Mashhad. Or somewhere like that. Or Qom. I remember that, Kaba. I remember that. And that's why I said And other people were picking up on that. Everybody else started talking about it afterwards. I was one of the first people to see that photo when it was posted, and that was a flag that he was already deceased. A lot of people may not. I forgot about that until you mentioned that in chat. When they were all there at a memorial with Soleimani on there, the Supreme Mouse Senior, but there his image was too, Mouse Junior. I remember that. Excellent point. The president can't approve this. There's just no way. I live near Mexico and it's not pretty. LOL, too many cartel type shit. And I've said that too, dude. You know, we talk about Cuba and some of these other places. Isaac, Mexico's my number one. To me, that is the real threat. Right on our border. It's not just about, I mean, think about, you know, people talk about the people coming in, all this. Yeah. There's a lot of other shit that's going on. Do you realize how much money laundering goes on between the U.S. citizens and Mexicans? The cartel connection. It's money, it's drugs, it's people. I mean, human trafficking, even weapon smuggling. Everything is all on Mexico. That to me is our biggest national security threat. Direct. It's our fucking border. Well, how much of a threat do you want? It's on our border. And the influences of others in those countries, not just Mexico, but in other South American countries. Get it out. Now, you could start with Cuba, because we hear about the claims of drones, Iranian drones there. God only knows what else. But I'm telling you, and I think a lot of it has to do with their concern about all these cartels that are embedded here along the border on our side. But they really need to prepare to take that shit on once and for all. I mean, come on. Look, are the cartels, and I'm already on a list. I'm just going to be added to more lists. Aren't they considered a terrorist group, organization? Aren't they not terrorizing and threatening our national security? If we can go into other countries, regions, to take out terrorist organizations, why can't we do it to Mexico? Right here, bordering the fucking homeland, you can't. I know the president wants to do it. I've heard this before, even during the first administration. What's going on? I'm live. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's freaking hot here. It's ridiculous. I'm in a room. I had the air on, but I shut it off because I got the pool pump going. Dude, I won't say your favorite word, heat index. He doesn't comment. I'm live. Everybody can hear you. He does not like heat index. He's like,
if I'm not talking, how can they hear me?
No, but I'm saying you're not talking because you don't.
I was just making a joke.
You know you don't like that heat index shit.
No, it's stupid. Look, it's hot enough. I don't need somebody else telling me it feels like it's fucking 18 degrees hotter. I don't need to hear that shit.
Oh.
That was invented by
whoever.
something that rhymes with wussies.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, you're making me tear early in the morning.
It was like two good old boys sitting on the porch saying, man, goddamn, it's hot.
Dude.
The other was, man, it feels like it's 120. No, it feels like it's 111.
Dude.
And they started arguing about it, and then I think everybody...
I just hope...
Bill, what about honey garlic chicken Saturday night?
Are you doing it?
Yep, got everything I need.
Dude, you're going to love it. I swear to you, you are going to say, Bill, you were so damn right about that honey garlic chicken.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Then you got to try that other one that I made that somebody in chat told me about. I can't remember. Marry Me chicken. Oh, my God. But I modified the recipe.
The marry me chicken, I was in the chat when that was going down, and I got it. I got you sent me the recipe that they sent you.
Yes. Now,
You found or whatever.
I would do this. This is just my own. I think I told you this already. I did. In a sauce.
Mushrooms.
Yes. Onions, mushroom, broccoli, whatever the freak else.
I just got a French carton of brown mushrooms sliced.
Oh.
And I just got a fucking big old head of broccoli too.
But when you do that,
I've also got not stewed, but roasted tomatoes. Big can of Hunt's roasted tomatoes.
Yep.
Dropping that bastard.
dude, and like I said,
I've got to send you a file, bro. Let me go get it.
yeah, send the file.
You don't have this file yet. So.
Okay, is that the one that you're playing? Okay, yeah, do it.
It's Into the Fray. It's Shannon LeGros. It's her latest show.
All right, do it.
For us, 2016.
Anyway, I would do that on the side, like make it in with the same recipe that you make the base with, but then put the broccoli and the mushrooms and the onions and any other shit that you enjoy.
Wait a minute. I was selecting that file. What did you just say? I don't want to miss it.
So in that recipe, the Marry Me Chicken one, when you make that recipe, start another frying pan and use the same ingredients, but this time put in the broccoli, whatever you like, cauliflower, onions, mushrooms, red pepper, whatever you like, and make it in the same kind of sauce. And then when you make the chicken, pour that over the chicken, the vegetables. Oh my God, dude. Talk about making the freaking recipe better. Because you know me, I'm a cook. So I can make a recipe like better to my taste. I just took it to another level.
Yeah. I used some egg noodles the other night, and I had some crinkle mushroom, cream of chicken, and mushroom. And I had fresh mushrooms added. I had some shallots in there. Just the white parts, not the green part.
Uh-huh.
And salt, pepper, and some. What else did I put in there? Fuck, I can't think about it. But it was mixed in some deal. Anyway, when I got done with it, I did the mushrooms and the onions and the butter in another pan, and I softened them, sauteed them up real good. And I just added those to the cream of chicken, cream of mushroom. And, but I just cubed the chicken breasts in the cubes. And I was going to make when I started out, I was going to make a casserole. I decided to just pan it.
Uh-huh.
But man, I remember when I got done, I was like, man, this son bitch is missing something. It's missing. It was good, but it was missing something.
And what'd you do?
I ate it.
Alexa, stop it.
When I do this honey garlic, though, I'm doing it exactly like you said. So.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna love the honey garlic. But make sure.
Just looking at it.
But make sure that you let that sauce thicken. Do you know what I mean? Let it get nice and thick. And what I do is I don't make it in the chicken. Like the recipe shows, I make a separate saucepan with the butter, with the soy sauce, with the honey, with the lemon juice, with the garlic. Because I want to make an actual sauce, like enough. Because I can baste it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. And you have to do it separate in order to get those flavors right.
Well, you can baste the chicken. You spoon the chicken on top of it and put that stuff on it on both sides,
Wait, I swear to God, I can't.
I'm getting hungry.
You get that file?
Yeah, I'm adding it to the thing now because I had to put it in the proper folder. But dude, you are going to freaking, and that Marry Me chicken, how that tastes, I made it with white rice and I poured the sauce over the white rice. Oh my God, was it awesome. It was delicious. So, I'm telling you, you're gonna love it.
Well, thanks for sending it over to me, bro. I appreciate that. I really like cooking for Robin.
Yeah, treat her.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I hear you. What are you up to on that file?
3819. 3812.
3806.
Hit it. Season and basketball season's coming and going to get little man into basketball. So they'll probably be busy on the weekends for about a month. I predict, because there's just going to be so much going on. But me and Meemaw, we're going to get them this weekend, and we're gonna cook out. We're gonna go to Natural Dam up to the creek, go swimming, and
How's the weather going to be down there?
come over to the big park to play over at the big park for a couple hours. And
How's it going to be down there, the weather?
next thing is it's being probably, just 90s and 100s.
Shit, dude, it's ridiculous here. I got to be honest. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot. But I'm not going to complain because then I'll be saying when it's fall, I'll be regretting it.
Dude, that's the way I'm looking at it. It hurts, you know what I mean, to be out in that heat working in it. But thank the Lord I don't have to. Um, we both got occupations in our homes where we can make a decent living and survive here.
Yep.
Like, my wife, she works for like QuickBooks, like TurboTax, like from home.
Yep.
And we're blessed that, she has that job to work from home because if we had to work outside doing landscaping or lawn work or construction work like I used to do, man,
Oh.
I couldn't handle it now. I mean, I could back when I was young, but I can't now.
Nah, I get it. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. Hit me up if anything.
Yes, you too, brother. You too.
Enjoy with the grandkids and
You talked to Margie?
not at all.
I tried to reach her yesterday all day and never got a call back, never heard back. Can you mute this for a second? Sorry, Chad.
Yes.
Sorry, you guys.
Hold on, I'm mute now.
For a second.
I got to mute, folks. 1 second. I can unmute.
I'm just trying
No,
to
no, no. I
get
get it. I get it. So you need to take care of that and make that call, and
Yeah, so if you hear from her,
I will tell her to contact you.
yes, yes. And listen, you have a great weekend. Take it easy on Mom. And meatloaf.
You fuck. Anyway, call. Listen, I want pictures.
And everybody in chat that hates on me all the time, I still love you.
Nobody hates on you in chat. They're awesome in there.
They get mad at me because I stick with Trump no matter what.
Don't worry, you have plenty of support with that in the chat.
You know what? I could walk in a room with a dead body in the floor full of bullet holes, bleeding out. Trump standing there with a smoking pistol in his hand, and I'd say, "Who killed that son of a bitch?"
Oh my god. Oh wait. Before you go, take pictures tomorrow of the recipe. I want to see them and let me know how it comes out.
You got it.
Later, bro. Love you.
Love you.
Bye. He is cray. He's a great guy, though. All right. I got to get my shit together because I'm not doing well here. To be honest, I have to get my shit together. I'm not paying attention. I was trying to pay attention while talking to him, but it's kind of difficult. He's making that recipe, though. I am really curious. Let me just wrap up what I'm doing for a second. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. Fuck. What am I looking for? Right here. Oopsie. I'm safe for now. I could stop. Okay, good. Now, what the hell is going on in chat? Running the alleged USFR cockpit image through AI imaging analysis to see what comes back. Good one, Diesel. LOL, obviously feelings are not facts. Well, feelings are facts to the person. If I say I feel like shit right now, that's a fact. I don't know about that. Shit. I feel like my blood pressure is going up. Well, I damn can tell when my blood pressure is going up. That's a fact. Especially with this conversations. What are the chances something happens this weekend? I think we need to wait until the agreement is formally put out there, and then the president will, I think you'll see a reaction from him. Then we see where the chips fall. Mamdani was booed. Did y'all hear about that? Where was he? Outside the city? Because that's the only place they'll probably cheer him. That's not true. Being a New Yorker for many years, Staten Island, believe it or not, of all the 5 boroughs, Long Island is not included. That does not count. Queens does not count. Nassau County, Suffolk County does not count. That's not New York City. It's the 5 boroughs. Staten Island is Republican. If he went to Staten Island, I could see him getting booed. If I'd see him going to certain areas of the Bronx, I could see him getting booed. Same goes with certain areas in the city. I could definitely see him getting booed. Staten Island, he probably stays away from completely. Suffolk County, Long Island, he definitely is staying away from Suffolk. Even Nassau, but even more Suffolk. If he was to do something in my old neighborhood, he's getting booed. But then again, demographically, my old neighborhood has changed so much that I don't know. I can't even say that honestly. Back in the day, he wouldn't have a chance. Today, things are different. The demographics have changed. He's not my mayor. I don't live in New York City. Are you crazy? We don't even have a mayor here. We don't have a mayor here. This is a town. There's no mayor. I don't know where I just saw it on a news article, so I was like laughing about it. So I'm just keeping an eye to see. I'm seeing if there's anything new. The Iranians are a parliament member and a member of the National Security and Foreign Policy Commission. The Saudis should understand that a paper agreement with Turkey and Pakistan will not guarantee their security, just as decades of one-sided dependence on the Americans failed to do so. Change your policy so you don't have to go begging others for security. They are really talking a lot of trash. ADNOC, the UAE-based company, 15 of our ships have been attacked since the beginning of the conflict. That's pretty messed up. So he's saying it again. Besant is making an. I don't know if this is from this morning or last night. I don't know what the hell. But here we go with the talking again. Why is he talking?
We're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
We had Epic Fury, which was the kinetic portion. At Treasury, we did Economic Fury. What goes little publicized is, on the kinetic side, Air Force is wiped out, Navy is wiped out, a big portion of their missiles, more importantly, their missile production. On the economic side, we have them by the throat, and they've got 150, 180% food inflation, not able to pay the troops. So I think shortly, maybe even today, tomorrow, we are going to see an agreement, 30, 60-day ceasefire, and Strait will be open. Energy prices should come down.
The Strait will be open. I told you about spin, by the way. I told you about the spin. They're making it seem like due to the economic, military, kinetic, and other threats pressure that Iran is going to agree to open the Strait and to a 60-day, 30-day ceasefire. Do you guys see that as being reality? Or are they waiting to see what the Oman-Iran deal is to open the Strait and claim that it was due to pressures that they came to this agreement? But what about the terms of the Strait being opened? Is that something the United States is going to accept? It's exactly the same thing that they said a few days ago. That's almost the same thing he said a few days ago. I don't know if that's a fucking clip from, what was it, Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday. He said the same thing. Oh, we might see it open today or tomorrow, Wednesday. It's almost identical. I don't even know if that's fresh, because it's like deja vu. It's like Memorex. It looks like it's the same. Hi, Fringe. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was. It wasn't CNBC. It was another news outlet. I don't know. It doesn't look familiar to me. Then again, I don't watch that shit, so I wouldn't even know. Okay, so the leaders of the three countries that signed the Joint Defense Agreement, which is primarily aimed at Yemen, are performing prayers in Mecca. So this has to do not so much with Iran. They're being careful. it really has nothing to do with the defense agreement against Iran. But who the fuck are the Houthis? They're proxies of Iran. Who are they fooling? I mean, really, who are they gaslighting? It's directly connected to Iran, but they're trying to say it has to do with Yemen. Well, duh, the Houthis are proxies of Iran. It's amazing how they try to separate the two. No, the two are interconnected directly. Where they're getting these missiles and drones and everything else to attack Saudi interests or the Yemeni government. It's Iran. I mean, can you believe the bullshit sometimes? It can't be the same clip, Isaac, because it's a different, I don't know what news outlet he was on.
We're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon.
It's not NBC, CNBC.
We had Epic Fury, which was the kinetic portion. At Treasury, we did.
We heard this, but
Fury.
look at the part in the beginning.
A nuclear weapon.
Trying to get to that.
We're never.
This is definitely not CNBC. So this is him sitting down with another reporter interview. I don't know. So I don't know when this took place, what the date is on this. Was it yesterday, last night? Because if he said today or tomorrow, that don't make no sense. Because then it would be Thursday and Friday. So it's important to know when this was recorded. At least for context. I don't know.
But
that's not the same clip
nuclear weapon
as went Tuesday. He did that on CNBC. I think that's their financial network channel, and it affected the markets almost immediately. So he's making his rounds, talking this stuff. You know, he's trying to calm things down. What? This is going to the Supreme Court. This is going to the Supreme Court. The U.S. Court of Appeals has decided to halt Trump's project to build a ballroom at the White House, costing $400 million. Oh, the appeals court, they're going to the Supreme Court with this. They got to go to the higher court. This is what I'm reading right now. I don't know if it's true. Now, I get it where some people complain, some people think it's great. I think it's a no-brainer. Because it's not just about for the president, current president, it's moving forward. If you want to have a secure location where you have dignitaries, whatever it is, what better place? What, are you going to go to a fucking hotel? We've seen what happens at a hotel. I would want it in a secure location. I want a place where we have dignitaries at and their guests and whoever is there protected. It's more secure. To me, it's common sense. I don't know what you all think. To me, it's common sense. To have it on the premises. No? I mean, come on. What better place? And he spoke about what's underneath it as well. It's a much more secure location. And it's not just for him, it's for the future. It's the people's house. I don't get it. It makes total sense to have a location secure, and beautiful, where you welcome world leaders, dignitaries, diplomats, whatever, and you hold events in there. What, are we supposed to have it in the fucking Waldorf Astoria? Have a great one, Isaac. You know what I mean, though? It makes sense to me. It just makes sense. Yeah, but he can have his name on it now. It doesn't mean that it doesn't get removed in the future. It's whoever is in power. There's that flux that goes on all the time. When one goes out, they change the terms. And then when that one leaves, they change the terms. They wipe away whatever the prior one did, and they put their own shit on it. And then that happens. When that other one comes in, they change it. That's politics. So, Yeah. And it's the people's house. I mean, the White House is the people's house. It's not his house. It's not anyone's house. They're there temporarily as residents there, you know? So I don't know about that. Yes, the meteor shower, I might do both, the 11th and the 12th, depending on the weather. Because I got a lot of good activity the night before 2 peak, which is Tuesday night. Wednesday night is peak for the meteor shower. I would suggest all of you go outside and experience it yourself if it's clear in a dark sky environment. This is going to be amazing this year. It's less than a week away. I got to say, it's the average worker having a hard time feeding their families and paying bills. I get that. The problem is, if it was one singularity, like one project, I think people would say, oh, okay. But when you see all these other projects happening, helipads, the fucking reflective pool, and all these other things, and money's going out, that's when people start to say, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That, Marianne, I understand what you're saying. But I mean, it is a discussion. For me personally, at this time, is it good timing? I don't know. But I do think it's important to have a secure place where you have diplomats, especially in these times when a lot of these people are on lists, targets. You want to try to protect them as best as you can. And this moves on to the future. Again, it's an interesting debate. I get it though, Marianne. I totally understand your point. But I feel a lot more secure where they're at there than at the Waldorf or some other event being held. Just think of the security that has to be done at these locations and the cost to the taxpayers every time they do something like that. And if it is not being paid by the taxpayer and it's being paid by donations, then I know that people are going to say, well, what corporations are going to be invested in this one? What billionaires are involved in this one? I get that. But if it's not at any cost to the taxpayer, then what's the problem? Because these companies or corporations are involved? What's in it for them? Going out to the greenhouse to water my Armenian cucumbers. That sounds good. Fringe. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it, like everything else. But it's interesting that the appeals court has postponed it. It's going to go all the way up to the higher courts. Okay, nothing there. That's nothing important. Can you believe I might have to put the air on again? Because it's getting hot in here quick. The Dems spend all their time trying to get at Trump and not doing anything for the constituents. Well, I can argue to be all up in you, to be fair. And I've done a lot of research on this. When you do Medicaid cuts and healthcare cuts and a lot of other areas, the Republicans are not looking for the best interests of their constituents as well. Some of the top, I think it was 6 out of the 7 top states are heavily, other than New Mexico, heavily dependent on aid from the federal government for Medicaid, SNAP. 6 out of 7 are red. Are they looking out for their constituents? Go do the research. You'd be interested to see how it does affect. So I don't know how that helps their constituents. I mean, if you look at some of these rallies, some of these Republicans are having back at home, they're not going well. And those are red-based rallies. And they're getting shouted down and booed. So to be fair, are they necessarily looking out for their constituents? Don't take my word for it. Do the research. What are the top states that depend on federal aid? And not only that, what are the states that are putting money into the pot, and what are the states that are taking away from the Fed money? Kentucky's up there is close to number one. A lot of red states are on the top of the list. They talk about this, this, and this, but they're the most dependent on federal aid. So you got to do the little research on that one. Are they really caring about their constituents? Are they? The Republicans? Forget about the Democrats. So, to be fair, I'm just being objective. Because they're both. Are they both? That's why people are pissed at both parties. Are they both truly serving their constituents' interests? That's a good question. Exactly, Thomas. People are sick of both. So it's you could take anything out of context and chop it up to favor your opinion or perspective or narrative. You can pick something, and if you take it out of context, it can appear this way. On the flip side, I can take something out of context to counter with the other one. Like per capita. You hear that a lot. Per capita. Like crime per capita. What is real the statistic? When you have a city of 8.5 million and you hear about, because I can pull up the NYPD going back decades, crime was way worse when I was young. When I was a little kid, going to a Yankee game in the late 70s, that shit was scary. Driving through the city, through the Bronx in the 80s, I tell this story all the time. I'm at a light going to Yankee Stadium, and there's a fucking shootout with gangbangers right in front of my car. I'm at the light, and they're shooting from each side of the street at each other, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. The city was filthy. It was disgusting. It was burnt out in a lot of places. Condemned buildings. Graffiti all over the subways. Smell of piss and urine everywhere. But the crime rate has steadily declined. Even under Giuliani. But do you know that the crime numbers now are less than Giuliani's numbers? People may flip it. They say, oh my God, the crime's out of control in New York City. No, it's not. It had a little bump after COVID. The crime numbers are pretty much at its lowest in decades. So you see how the media flips stuff and make it sound like it's insane. I went numerous times in the last year to New York City. It's never been that good. As a New Yorker, experiencing New York all my life, not living there for 20 years in the city, but I am so fucking impressed on how they cleaned up that city and how it appears and looks. Now, do I want to live there? No. But I got to be honest. It's the best I've seen it in a long time. Clean. Police presence is there. You see them all over the city. It's not like you hear the nonsense that you hear about the lack of police. That's bullshit. They're there. And you can see them. And there's long guns, canines, police cars fucking everywhere. They've got that city secure. Now, I don't know how it is in other areas of the city because I didn't go there. But I'm impressed. So I can spin it like under, I could spin it though. Under, what was the last, de Blasio, crime spiked. Crime went up. True. But I could spin it. It still went up, but it's still lower than it was under Giuliani. There was a little bump, but it's still overall lower than it has been in decades. You see what I'm saying about spin? I can spin it both ways. So, again, and another thing too is, if you don't trust the NYPD site, then you can't trust anything. Because they put out the statistics for felonies, everything else. If you can't believe that because it's contrary to your opinion, that's your opinion. If we're not going to start believing in facts and stats that these police, law enforcement puts out and everything else, that's a different story. You can argue with the stats that they're putting out. But it's not a matter of convenience that the stats are nice when you look at them when you favor one party, but then when it's the stats are not what you expect because the other party's in charge, and you say, I don't believe those. But I believe them when your party's in, but I don't believe them now because my guy's not in there. That doesn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Just to be objective. It doesn't work for me. So I don't play that game. At least I try not to. I need a stove. So again, it's all in the eye of the beholder. It's opinion, but I always look for statistics, data. A lot of the data has been removed because they don't want us to see the data. Believe me, I know that. So I'm a person that questions everything. I question everything. But if we lose doubt completely, absolute, you can say goodbye to democracy. Because that is where it starts to crumble, where you trust nothing. We're in trouble. Because that's not going to lead down a good path. That leads to unrest, potential violence, worse. And it has to start from somewhere. Conspiracy theory, deep state, the cabal, the elite. It is complicated. The communists, the authoritarianism, fascists, socialists, all that. I try to, and it's not easy, I try to refrain from that. Because I don't want to be spun down that rabbit hole. And trust me, it is not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. Like say Dehydrator says, I used to believe in the stats like 10 years ago, not so much anymore. But that's what I'm saying. There's so much mistrust. Everything is sowed in doubt. Everything. No matter what the source. So I can't say that Mad Million because they're getting repeat offenders off the streets because they close prisons up here, which helps the communities that these prisons are in. She shut down prisons in this state. So that where are they going? Where are they being housed? Are they being released? So I don't know about that, repeat offenders. So again, this is like if we should do that someday. Pick out one topic, one area of discussion, and focus on it. You know what I mean? That would be a good idea. Like if we talk, like I can talk to you about, but again, I only can talk about my own personal experience in the city. I don't know what it's like now. Like homelessness, especially when it comes to veterans. It is disgusting. And I've written to, and I'm going to do it again. I've written to congressional members here, House reps, but I got to do it again. It is actually so sad and tragic. To me, it's a travesty. It is disgusting how we treat the veterans. I kid you not. In a homeless shelter back in the day, I would say 60 to 70% of them were fucking veterans. How is that possibly allowed to happen in this country? You explained that to me. Now, I don't know what it's like now. I can only speak from what I witnessed 20 years ago. That's a disgrace. Do you know what I mean? That is disgraceful. Yes, definitely the media. So I had an idea, and I sent my idea to reps, and I'm going to do it again because it's been a while. You know when you hear about U.S. bases in the United States getting closed down, then they sell the property and it becomes a fucking condo or a golf course or a mall? I'm sure you guys are familiar that it may have happened in where you live, nearby. No. Don't do that. Keep it intact. The barracks, the facility, the housing, whatever. Send homeless veterans there on an old base where they feel like it's a setting that they're kind of acclimated to. Maybe even the word, I can't say comfortable, but something they can adapt more easily to. And then you put civilians on this base to help them with their needs, whether it's mental health, addiction, whatever it is. And maybe have a little presence of National Guard or something just to make them feel comfortable, like more at home, like in a setting that they like I said, they become acclimated to easier. Then what you do is, on that same base, you build small homes. And they make a transition from the barracks into these small homes. And they're still on base. But to see how they do off out of the barracks and on their own. So pretty much you can make it look like a Sim City, where it looks similar to like a normal neighborhood, but see how they adjust to doing things on their own. And again, they even in that, there would have to be stages. They still have to go to the main area of the base to see a counselor or whatever to just check up on them. But give them like a phase to get readjusted to going back into society as a whole. Does that make sense? It's a lot better than what I witnessed, my God. You know what they were doing? Now, remember, they're getting their check, their monthly money. Who do you think is getting that money? The shelter? Now, yes, they take a percentage out of their checks to pay for their shelter. Stay at the shelter. The shelter is, what I seen was absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. Gross. Then they would take them to, what do they call them? Halfway houses throughout the city. And they would put them in there, similar to what I said on the base, but they would put them there where there's maybe 8 other people living there in a 2-story or 3-story housing unit. So they're there, they have their own room, but they're in there with others. And then they would make the transition and they would find them an apartment. And I'm not sure how much they were responsible for the rent. But someone was covering, I don't know if it was the state, the city, someone was covering the other cost of them going to these apartments. But a percentage of that would also come out of their checks. Give it 2 or 3 months. They're not putting up their end of the bargain. They're messing up. They're back on drugs, whatever it is. Guess where they end up back? In the same damn shelter. It was an ugly circle. Ugly. It's disgusting. And I asked someone who was in charge of the shelter, why is this happening? Why aren't they getting the treatment they need? To me, it should have been mandatory. Do you know what they told me? It was voluntary. In order for them to get the treatment they needed for mental health or addiction, It was voluntary. To me, that should have been, because you know what happened? They didn't want to foot the bill, and it would be overwhelming to actually send them into facilities so that they can get the treatment they need. Nobody wanted to foot that bill because that would cost. Now they're going to have to send them to a psychiatric or a mental or an addiction place, a rehab. That's what it came down to. Money. It's part of HUD? Bondwater? Then he was going out of the military. It took a while for him to adjust to civilian life. I'm trying to catch up what you guys are saying about this. And another thing too is, now you're mentioning about the VA. And I have family members that have to deal with the VA. And have to travel. Over here, they're around. There's two of them close. Just saying, they are. How much does the VA get in money every year? Alexa, what is the fiscal budget for the VA for 2026?
The FY 2026 Veterans Affairs budget request is roughly $441 billion, with about $301 billion in mandatory funding and $133 billion in discretionary spending, marking a $42 billion increase over 2025.
Can you repeat that number?
The FY 2026 Veterans Affairs budget request is $441.3
Alexa, stop. All right. 441 billion with a B dollars, the VA. Okay? 441 billion. Now, I don't know, you guys might help me with this. If we were to do away with the VA and allocate that money to veterans, their spouses, and their children, do you think that's more than enough money to cover for every fucking veteran? To give them everything they need? All the resources they need? And go to any doctor, any hospital, period? 441 billion? I mean, that's insane. I mean, you hear the talk about it to keep Obamacare going, Medicaid going, it's 40 billion. 441 billion annually? And you can't use that money? You probably would save money for every veteran, their spouse, their immediate family, and cover them for everything and anywhere? Am I thinking wrong here? The vast majority of that money gets tied up in VA bureaucracy. I think somebody needs to come up with that. If the same way you talk about, and I'm just saying, the same way you talk about healthcare for all, well, let's make it healthcare for all, including our freaking veterans. You could talk about this part of the population, coverage for everyone. Well, what about the veterans? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't you think that $441 billion is enough to cover every veteran, their spouse, their loved ones, their families, period? And then you create a fund? I mean, I could see so many incentives being taken from that money. Which I think would be great. Like a trust fund for the children to be educated. But then there'll be biasness, right? Well, shouldn't we give some incentives to be in the military too? So, do you know what I mean? I think that's just utterly ridiculous. 18 million living veterans. All right, living veterans, but how many family members included? Because you have to include all that. It's not just the veterans, it's their spouse, it's their children. So if there's 18 million, let's say there's 100 million with children and spouses. Let's just say, and that sounds a lot. 100 million. 100 million compared to 441 billion. How much do you think it's going to cost them for healthcare per year? And the government should have a program for them for healthcare coverage everywhere. I don't know. They already have all this stuff. What, Mad Million? Be specific. What do you mean they already have this stuff? I know that I have a family member that has to go to the VA to take his father to the VA, and it's a distance away. It's backlog of going to get to see the doctor. And sometimes, it's not the same doctor. I hear all kinds of horror stories from my relative that tells me, like, this is crazy. I could get him on the phone right now and he'll tell you the horror stories that he's going through. His father's the Korean War veteran that I talk about sometimes. He's 95 years old. And it is sad to hear it. The experiences with the VA. Literally everything you're saying, then you put in a request, you change your primary care. He just did it. Is that around the whole country? Or is that where you are? That they do. They do provide that. Because I know he gets that transport. He even has health aid there, care workers in the house to take care of his father. But I think they should get gold star platinum care, period. They reimburse you for your travel. I can call up my doctor and see my doctor today if I wanted. Is that possible in the VA? I can change my primaries. I can go to whoever I want, really. How difficult is that with the VA? How long does it take? I could do that right now on the phone, literally, in front of you. For me, it's easy. Thank God. It should be that easy for every veteran and their families. That's what I'm saying. So why, if they can go to their own primary, what's the purpose of the VA? If they can choose and get all these benefits that you're saying, then what is the point of having a VA? With $441 billion. Dude, why do they have to be involved? Why can't they just have gold star healthcare, remove the VA? VA is not needed. If this is the case, the VA is not needed. Just cover them. Period. No VA, no red tape, no third party bullshit. Just anywhere they want to go. I changed from VA to an in-network community care provider. See, you did the right thing for you. The parking is atrocious at my VA hospital. I'm talking 0 parking spaces. Most likely you're going to make your own parking space and walk a quarter mile. That's hard. That's horrific. See, a lot of people here go to West Point. Or they go across the river. There's another place. West Point is further. So that's like the big VA for here, West Point. I don't see, like my friend John, he's a veteran. But he gets incredible health insurance from his job. but he's still a veteran. I don't know. I'm not familiar how that works, but I know he's fully covered through his employer. So I don't know what he does. I know he has to go to a network. You hear about that networking nonsense. I also have to go to doctors that are approved by my insurance, who takes my insurance. So it is networking. Like, thank God, which I got to do right now. I just made me think. Let me take it out. I can do that. Before I forget. So I got 3-month refills for this Manjaro. I have 3 refills. Mom has Blue Cross Blue Shield, Post Office, and Medicare. She doesn't get refills. And she's got excellent health care. Me, I get 3 refills. But for some reason, Blue Cross Blue Shield makes her have to get another pre-authorization every time she needs a fucking refill. The doctors have to put, and that to me is insane. I make sure for mine, make sure I get refills for mine. Because I don't want to have to go through that every month. Call the doctor. The pharmacy's telling me I need a pre-authorization every month to go through that. Now, for opioids and stuff like that, they don't give refills here. You have to definitely get a refill done again by the doctor. It's one with no refills. For opioids, like Oxy, Hydro, Percocet, all that. So it also depends on the insurance. That's why I have fired a bunch of folks. I get it, but my experiences have been much different. Well, everybody's personal experiences are different. Hopefully they're better for you. But, I'm always concerned about those that are not that fortunate. Thank God things are going good for you, Mad Million. I sent it for a year-long referral, so there is no back and forth without getting a referral every time. That's great. They send us 3 months of meds at a time, except for yes, exactly, the controlled substance. Yes. They're very strict here. And another thing, too, is, I don't know how it is there. There's no such thing as scripts anymore. They don't write out scripts anymore here in New York. That's been done away for a long time already. The doctor has to actually put in the request of refills, and it goes directly to your pharmacy, and then the pharmacy fills it. There's no more scripts because there was a lot of corruption and scamming, especially when it came to opioids. It was a big deal. Doctors are just writing off like candy and selling it. Like, it was very fraud, corruption, big time. I'm just checking to see if there's anything going on. As you could hear it, stuff is coming in. Nothing new. Nothing new. They fax it over there. Like when I went to the doctor, what was it? Day before yesterday? Whatever it was. I needed medication. And he goes, okay, what do you need? Because I only went there. Only the doctor. I can't just call in and say, can you refill this? No, you have to sit down and meet the doctor. The doctor does it. They can't do it. The people that work there, the nurses or whatever, they cannot do it. It has to be the doctor. So he says, what do you need? I need this, because the bottle say no refills. Because I see the doctor every 3 months. But this time I had to make a special visit just to get my medications refilled. And he says, okay. He's typing it out. Okay, I just sent it. Done. But I still would call them to see if it's ready before you go there to pick it up. Not a fax. It's done right online through the computer direct to the pharmacy. So it's different. What's up, Tammy? So what is on the agenda for today? God only knows. It's early. It's not that early. It's already 11. I need to mow my freaking lawn. But there's a heat advisory here. And as my friend, he just shudders if I even mention the heat index is going to be 101 or higher even today. It's hot out there. I don't know if I'll wait till like late afternoon to attack this lawn. I did the neighbor's a few days ago, so he's good next door. It's so much easier riding the Cub Cadet. See, I have too many like places that I would have to, because I seriously could drive his Cub Cadet down my driveway and mow my lawn with it. And he told me I could if I wanted to. But I don't know if I want to go out to that to do that, you know? Because like I said, I have too many like things in the way. I would have to move benches and I have too many obstacles like. But I do think about doing it that way. You know, I have the self-propelled mower, obviously. What's up, Debs? Bill, I was a pharmacist if you need any advice. All medical records are on a central server, and if you move or something, they can access. I have access to my medical records. Through the doctor. The portal. Call it the portal. I have access to everything. I am the person that wants everything. I want everything. I don't know if you guys watch Chuck Holton, but he's on now. Oh, yes. I'm reading what you guys are writing. Yeah, no, we were talking about that moonshine last night. That apple. I gotta look into that. The apple, Old Smoky apple moonshine? So I saw that in chat for a second. I think I might do it though today. I don't know if I can get over the speed bump without hitting the bottom though of the Cub Cadet. I have a speed bump on my driveway. A big one. It's to divert the water that comes running down the driveway. That's why I built it. It's really good. But tell me you don't enjoy having that apple juice, Tammy. Tell me that you don't enjoy that Angry Orchard crisp apple. Right? They are tasty and they are good. They taste good. You know, that's the thing. They taste good. It's hard to resist. You know that. I know you got into it. You have one after work. But yeah, it's like a jungle out there right now. So I got to address that. I do want to see the weather. Let's look at the weather. I don't know why it's not doing it now. You're supposed to be able to do 2 things, and it's not been working right for me, weather-wise. I don't understand what happened. I'm paying for it. I must be doing something wrong with my settings. I haven't messed with this enough. Anyway. Let's take a look. There are heat advisories everywhere. There's freaking heat warnings. There's some rain here, here, up here. That's into Canada. Typical. Those look like severe thunderstorm watches or warnings. Yep, warnings. There's a few of them already. Holy shit. Where's this moving? I bet you that shit is moving toward the Northeast and New England for later this afternoon. Let me check the model. Oh, those are moving to the Northeast. But look at the pop-ups. So I may get blasted later. This line is going to move to the Northeast, so it might head up this way. So yeah, we'll have afternoon storms here. And there's heat advisories. This is the Albany radar. Nothing showing up yet. Heavy rainfall. So yeah, it looks like we're going to get storms later. But a lot of this is heat advisories. But for some stupid reason, I'm going to have to work on the settings with this. Because it's not telling me. I don't understand why not. I have too many filters. See, when you highlight and click, oh, there, red flag warning, that one worked. This was probably for more fire. Heat advisory, air quality alert. See, now it's working. See, but it's not working here. See? The color. See, this says heat advisory. We're going to have to play with this. What's this on the coast? Heat advisory. I'm going to have to play with this. The settings. Yeah, typical August weather. You have everyone every night with or without me. You have somebody, a dude that makes the apple shine. My gal at the time got so messed up I had, oh my God, you had to spray her down with a water hose. Oh, absolutely, I'm doing a Perseids meteor shower coverage. Are you kidding me? That's like my biggest thing and the Geminids every year. If the weather's good, are you kidding me with my camera? It's going to be amazing. It's all about the weather. No, I'm doing it not just the 12th. I'm doing it the 11th too. I've had a lot of success with meteor showers the night before peak with the Perseids. So heck yes. It's going to be some long nights early morning, it's going to get cray-cray those 2 days. I'm going to need some rest. I did add the fire thing on the filters here. So this one I did a lot of filters. You could see where the weather is in the midsection. Entering the northeast New England probably later. See, but a lot of these storms are moving off to the northeast for me. It's early yet, too. So, yeah. I got to get things done before the thunderstorms hit. All right, let's see what these telegrams are. Pretty much, it's quiet. I'm keeping an eye on things, but it's quiet right now. Oh, shit. 11 seconds ago. Iranian parliament member said Iran will never reopen the Strait of Hormuz if U.S. pressure on Oman continues. That was 11 seconds ago. Shin posted it. Iranian parliament member, Iran will never reopen the Strait of Hormuz if U.S. pressure on Oman continues. And this was what we're talking about when I went to sleep last night. We were seeing that this was happening. It was this morning, and just as I was going to sleep last night, this was starting.
اليوم باستهداف المخيمات. شوفوا هذا الضربة الآن في مخيم الميل. يقوم الحوثي اليوم باستهداف المخيمات.
So, if you look at this video, is this a camp? What type of camp is it? Looks like there's children there. Are they hitting civilian camps? Is that supposed to be a military camp? The Houthis are targeting? And, you know, we hear talk about war crime this, war crime that. And it's saying it right here. This person's putting it. The Iran-backed Houthis launched several ballistic missiles and drones toward Marib city this morning, making the first such attack on the city in years. Marib hosts about 3 million Yemeni IDPs. That was the first one that happened. But then there was something that happened earlier this morning. So it's just crazy, man. Horrible. All right, let me get rid of the UFO database. Let me check Telegram. Ansar Allah Houthi fighters, reportedly led by I can't see it, Jibril, launched rocket attacks against Saudi-backed mercenaries in the coastal city of Al-Makha in Taiz province. They just put that out. A rocket struck a hangar in the occupied coastal area of Al-Makha, whatever. So there's still ongoing skirmishes going on. But that's the weird thing that Amir put out there, and I got to see if this is true. That the mouse has been rushed to a hospital and is in critical condition. An Israeli reporter reported that. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to put this in there. Let me see if there's any other claims. Israeli media. I don't know. Look. Yeah, lightning. Yeah, but if that person that supposedly said that was the arsonist in Spokane, that person should never be allowed out again. They have to put the foot down on stiffening up the laws. This cannot go on. I mean, this is sick. Look at this. I mean, even open source is saying it. This is 5 hours ago. And could pass away at any moment. Open source put this out 5 hours ago. Iran's supreme leader is in extremely critical condition and could pass away at any moment. Two sources close to the Pereskan administration told Iran Wire. I don't know if this is true. I don't know. Look at it. This is the chatter that's going on right now on social media. Now, I'm not saying this is true. This is unconfirmed. But if true, I believe he was never, I would say he's probably never alive to begin with. He's been gone for God knows how long. And now they're covering it up by saying he's been rushed to the hospital and he's close to death, which he's probably going to be pronounced dead because he's been dead. And now they're covering it up this way. It could be sepsis. If it's legit, all up in your, it could be sepsis. That's one possibility. From the injuries he sustained. I mean, gangrene, anything. It could be a result of anything that was going on. Amputation, you know. God only knows. But this is what's going on out there. And open source put it out there 5 hours ago? Keep an eye on this. I know Tusi's got to jump on this. But again, just like anything else, you wait for confirmation. You wait. Are the Iranians going to make a statement saying that the mouse is in critical or dead? Or has he been dead and the IRGC Navidi has been controlling the shit from the get-go? And is the Assembly of Experts going to put in a new mouse? Who would that be? Because they're the ones who decide who the next supreme leader. This could be an interesting little development on the side here. Actually, it's a big one. But Thomas, he might have been gone already. That's what I'm thinking. This is a cover to say that he's been rushed to the hospital, he's near death, and then announce that he's dead. But this has been the case. Nobody's seen him. Nobody's heard from him. You know, like they say that they met him in a car or a secret location. There's been only photos. There's been no confirmation at all that he's alive. Not that I've seen. No public appearances. Not even videos. Wherever he is at an undisclosed location. It would be AI. Looks like they may have already had a replacement for him. Something's going on. Now, this could be tied to the true unrest going on inside Iran in the regime. That's why I say they are so vulnerable right now. I go after the regime as much as I could. I'm going after the regime, especially if this is true. go after the regime now, collapse them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Again, take this for what it's worth. Thank you, Diesel. The rise of a new terrorist leader in Iran. Ayatollah Bakr Karazi, an ultra hardline Shiite cleric, is calling for another Islamic revolution in Iran. He's calling on members of the IRGC and the Basij militia to seize control of Tehran, Iran's capital. He has urged them to confront the regime's security forces if they attempt to stop them from taking control of the capital, to kill them. Karasi has called for the abolition of the presidency. He has been pushing that. He said statements yesterday and the day before that he wants him out. He also claimed that he enjoys the support of the mouse. Oh, this could be your freaking next supreme leader. His vision would replace Iran's current political system with a state governed entirely by his interpretation of Sharia law, eliminating the existing of constitutional framework. Oh, this is... The United States needs to pay very much attention to this. If he does look, Diesel, this guy does look like he would be the hardliner cleric to take the mouse's place. This is the candidate. I see that 100%. Yeah, there's going to be, Thomas, this is the signs of the infighting. Because what happens is, this is what I think. This is just my own personal take. They want somebody as a supreme leader to be seen as the supreme leader. Not some shadow, not some cardboard figure. They want somebody to be seen talking and putting out statements. It looks weak. It looks like there's an issue. So they want to get somebody in there that will be vocal and will make statements like this dude and be visually seen. That could be, I think it's more of an infighting amongst the hardliners. Forget about the other people. They're irrelevant because Iran consists mostly of hardliners. All that moderate talk is nonsense. I think it's a power struggle between the hardliners. And who's in charge? I mean, there's no real clear authority except for Vahidi, the IRGC commander-in-chief, that seems to be the one calling the shots. They want to have that supreme mouse figure out there that's visible, making statements, whether it's video, whatever, but that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it is very worrisome. That's why people say, when I was hearing that talk, oh, we decapitated their leadership, we took out the mouse, be careful. It could be worse. You might have somebody that's even worse than the other supreme leader in there. You think that's going to solve anything? We took out one layer, second layer. Give me a break. They're a bunch of jihadists. Their thing is martyrdom. The 72 goats. Do we not realize this, what we're dealing with here? They'd rather die or kill their own people than give up. In other words, they will die for the cause, a lot of them, and they'll take everybody down with them, including their own people. If they were to go down, if they thought they were going to lose control, they're going to try to inflict as much damage to everyone as possible. If they're going down, they're going to try to take everybody down with them. That's what we're dealing with here. I don't know if we realize that's the reality, but that is the reality. That's what we're dealing with. There is no fix. Okay, Eugene. Could also explain why all of a sudden there's all the chatter of his death. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He might be already dead. As reported, like, I don't know who it was. Kava mentioned this earlier. Months ago, they had a memorial. I don't know if it was in Mashhad or Qom, somewhere, and they had the supreme leader, Soleimani, and they had the Mouse Jr. on it, like he died. Now, I don't know if that was some bullshit that they tried to put out there. I don't know. But like I said, he might be already been dead for God knows how long. And now this is the cover to say he's in critical, pronounce him dead officially, have another funeral to get the people all over again riled up, and at the same time put this dude in. Because if there is infighting, they want to try to create some more stability within the structure. It makes sense. I mean, this guy's off the fucking scale. And I've seen some of his past statements. Now, I don't know if they're going to play this. I would suggest you folks look into this more. That could be an interesting development, what's going on in Iran internally. What is Vahid putting out? Okay, they're just talking about the agreement between Pakistan, Turkey. Okay, let me read it to you. The Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced in a statement that on Friday, August, this is their calendar, Pakistan, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia signed a joint defense agreement. This signed agreement states that any armed attack against one of the three countries will be considered an attack against all of them. This is a signal to Yemen, the Houthis. The statement further stated that the signing of this agreement demonstrates the commitment of the three countries to further strengthen their collective security. So remember, it's Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan. The Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs also stated in the announcement that an agreement is aimed at strengthening peace, security, and stability in the region and beyond, and to achieve a more secure and prosperous future. Reuters, quoting a Turkish official, reported that the defense agreement between Pakistan, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia is purely defensive in nature and aims to create a commitment to mutual support in the defense field. The official told Reuters this agreement is not directed against any specific country or party, and other countries in the region also have the possibility of joining it. There's the alliance. Turkey's definitely trying to be a major player. According to the official, this agreement does not replace or cancel any existing bilateral or multilateral agreements between the countries, because Pakistan and Saudi Arabia already had some defense agreement. Ibrahim Razai, a member of the National Security and Foreign Policy Committee to the Islamic Consultative Assembly, indirectly threatened Saudi Arabia, stating that the Makkah Defense Agreement will not bring them security. He wrote on X, the Saudis should know that a paper agreement with Turkey and Pakistan will not bring them security, just as years of one-sided support from the Americans did not bring them security. He accused Saudi Arabia of begging for security and advised the country's officials to reform their policies instead. So Iran's not happy about this. They're saying it's worthless, it's just paper. Because it's all about their proxies. In Iraq, in Yemen. That's what this is addressed to. Oh, that's disgusting. You don't want to see what they just put out as a fucking AI image. Disgusting. I tell you. Okay, so now the Yemeni response. The Houthis. No regional or international alliance will be able to seize the legitimate rights of the Yemeni people. Instead of the Saudi regime's floundering in its search for solutions to the predicament it has created for itself, it should focus on ending the siege and all hostile activities in Yemen. The Saudi regime should rather seek alliances to save the oppressed Palestinian people and protect the Al-Aqsa Mosque from the Zionist enemy. That's Jerusalem. Any Islamic alliance that does not make the Palestinian issue and confronting the Israeli enemy its primary focus serves the enemies of the nation and is destined to fall. Buying loyalties and squandering the wealth of the Holy Land will not grant the Saudi regime immunity from all the crimes it has committed in Yemen. The Republic of Yemen has made its decision and is determined to move forward to secure its full legitimate rights regardless of the size of the challenges and the level of developments. Anything less than those legitimate rights is humiliation, disgrace, and degradation, which the Yemenis will not accept. So they're being defiant and saying that this is bullshit. You're allying together, you should be allying against the Zionist enemy instead. And this why this radical jihadi ideology needs to be taken care of. It's a perfect example right there. Perfect example. It's not a NATO. Saudi Arabia is not NATO. This is a pact between them. Now, Turkey is a NATO country. That's going to get blocked in a second. 1, 2, there it is. There's the block. Turkey's already a NATO country. Saudi Arabia is not NATO. There's a pact between these countries. So they're trying to create an alliance dealing with this situation. But they're careful, they said it's defensive in nature. Turkey are ultra-right wolves. Saudi has been deploying forces and assets to their green zone in prep of attacks and possible ground infiltration by Yemeni Houthis. Of course, an IRGC proxy being funded and supplied, definitely diesel. There's no doubt. Turkey has always made a heavy metal sign with hand. So that's what's going on also. Yemeni, if this just came out, this is what they're putting out there. Yemeni forces once again targeted 2 sites of Saudi-backed forces. We already know about this. North of Marib, with 3 rockets and 2 drones. So meanwhile, that's going on with the Saudis and the Houthis. We still have to see the final agreement between Iran and Oman put out there. It's like everybody's waiting and seeing how this develops. You notice how quiet it's been. Too quiet. Let me see if the president put anything on Truth Social related to this. Political. Why did he repost this article again? He keeps reposting this article. He did it again an hour ago. A must read. Thank you to James J. Carafano. Donald Trump won the Iran war. We showed this last night. They're saying they won the war. The article. We talked about this last night. I'm not going to rehash it. If you want to read the article, I'll put it in a link in chat. That's the article. I mean, I could show it to you quickly on screen. When I was reading it, I was like, it started off with some wild stuff. I don't know how I mean, are they talking about Gaza, Lebanon? You know, the board of peace? Like that's going to reshape the region? We are about to see the biggest reshaping of the Middle East since Moses led the Jews out of Egypt. Just listen to this. Like the Pharaoh, who missed every warning sign up to the parting of the Red Sea, the critics of and questioners of Trump's tug of war with what's left of the Iran regime. What's left of the Iran regime? The fucking regime is intact. You took out a couple. What do you mean? What's left of the Iran regime? There's fucking hundreds of them left. Seem obtuse to the prophetic truth that the region will never be the same again in a good way. That's a hell of a spin. Oh yeah, they're gonna announce his fake death soon. I agree, Martin. But they divided into the categories. The maximalists want regime change. The minimalists want nothing, and the doubters see only waffling. So I guess I'm a maximalist. I'm one of those. I think a lot of us probably are categorized as maximalists, right? We want to see the job done. Let's see what they say about what he says about the maximalists. They will only be happy if Trump fought the war they wanted, arguing that nothing less than overthrowing the regime would do. Anything else is a defeat and a humiliation. That's a perversion of the president's more limited goals to eliminate the regime's capacity to bully and destabilize the region. What do you think they're doing right now? I mean, I read this and I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Then the minimalists, like the Democrats, they would only be satisfied if America did nothing, contending Trump has dragged the U.S. into a needless war in Iran and one with no clear end. Now, there are a lot of people that voted for the president for no more wars, no more foreign wars, that might agree to that too. You know what I mean? Procrastinators. They are impatient and confused by what they see as Trump waffling, vacillating between negotiating and punishing the regime, overlooking the deep convictions. They are deeply impatient. They're impatient and confused. Yeah. Trump can take a more measured approach to get to the end state he wants without unnecessary loss of life and needless destruction. Instead, he's de-risking every time the Iranians fail to meet the obligations or retaliate. He takes more capabilities and assets of Iran off the table. That's an interesting way to look at it. And then, obstructionists. They are what's left leading Iran, insisting that as long as they are still standing and resisting, they win, conveniently passing over the point that Trump has humbled and humiliated the regime, virtually decimating their armed forces and crippling Iran's economy. This is true. This is true. But are they humbled and humiliated the regime? The regime seems more emboldened than fucking ever. It's an interesting way to spin it. And we're going to see a lot of spin. Theory of victory. Let's see what they're saying. Reconstruction. The Board of Peace announced over objections to Iran. Unprecedented agreement to disarm Hamas, precursor to reconstruction of Gaza. So you're calling that a win? This is the win in the entire region when you're dealing with Iran as a whole? And the proxies are still going to be supported and everything else? Are you kidding me? How are you spinning that? Energy resilience. Only a year ago, the Iranian regime could threaten to shut down up to a third of the world's oil exports. Even today, while fighting in the Strait of Hormuz still lingers, there is no longer true. Are you kidding me? How many tankers are traveling through the fucking strait every day? Regional exports are rebounding by some estimates up to 2/3 pre-war levels? What? What the hell is this? in future economic deals, well, when they come to fruition and they are actually being done, I'll see that. Announced over Iraq. Yes, this is oil, by the way. Halliburton made a deal with an Iraqi oil company. There was a big deal with investment in Iraq for the oil. Still to be done. This is not. It's future economic deals. Further, the Iran war has helped even more urgently make the case for importance of IMEC. Oh my God, Trump won the Iran war. So here's the reality check, the inconvenient truth that doubters don't want to talk about. All the things he mentioned above. That's not convincing to me whatsoever. Sorry, that doesn't pass the smell test at all. So here comes the spin. Spin time. Now, I worry about that. He reposted that twice. An hour ago, he reposted that article. And I'm worrying that a lot of these people around him are convincing him, Mr. President, you've won this war. It's almost like you could take this deal to open up the strait because it will open it fully. I don't know how the hell this is being spun and where this is going, to be honest. I don't. And he reposted this twice on Truth Social. Two hours ago. A must read. Thank you to James J. Carafano. A must read. And then he posted it again last night. That concerns me. They're trying to convince him that he's won this war. And that's what you're going to hear. Is that crazy? I don't see any reality and basis of truth there in that article. I do see some decimating their military, economically punishing them. Yes, that's true. But the regime is a part of what it was. Like you're making it sound like the first, second, and now dealing with the third, like you've done something to the regime itself. We might have a new fucking mouse in a few days who's more hardliner than any of them. How are you going to deal with this one? I don't get it. I'm dumbfounded too, I have to be honest, by that article. And then reposting it like, I did win the war! I'm surprised I haven't seen that article on Telegram that they're posting about this article. I'm surprised they have not jumped on this, to be honest. A significant statement from the Islamic resistance in Iraq will be released shortly. Jesus Christ. The Houthis targeted the Al-Mil camp north of the city of Marib with rockets and drones. We already talked about that. This is just like really cray-cray stuff, isn't it? Do you guys, this is just like crazy. How this is being spun in so many different directions, right? It ain't over until my ex-wife sings. Deb says, if we won the war, why is it they're pushing Sharia law over here? Well, they'll say that's more of a domestic issue than what's going on in the Middle East. Debs. This is not talking about here. They're talking about over there. And they're trying to say that the border peace is their big prize with Gaza. That's what he's saying. Like the Gaza. I haven't seen anything really develop as far as that's concerned either. I haven't seen anything really develop as far as Lebanon. The Lebanese army was moving into places, but they're not doing anything. Israel is still targeting locations in southern Lebanon. Demolition, all this. I mean, how is the region changed like Moses leading the Jewish people out of Egypt? To even say something like that is cray-cray. He starts the article by referring to biblical. I guess that is enticing to a lot of people that this is a war between Christianity and Islam. And he's trying to grab that and make that part of it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is going to, he said this is going to change the Middle East. Like what happened thousands of years ago, and using Moses in comparison to this. That alone makes me go like, he's batshit nuts. How could you even go there? I mean, that's scary in itself. You had to go there to start your article? Look at it. We are about to see the biggest reshaping of the Middle East since Moses led the Jews out of Egypt. Like the Pharaoh who missed every warning sign up to the parting of the Red Sea, the critics and questioners of Trump's tug-of-war with what's left of the Iran regime, seems obtuse to the prophetic truth that the region will never be the same again in a good way. If I saw the actual collapse of the regime and Iran looks like the inevitable fall of the regime and change in the region geopolitically, I would buy that. That would be the change like not seen for God knows how many fucking years. That would convince me if that were the case. But some of us are being called maximalists. The nerve. And trying to put us down for getting the job finished. And all of a sudden, it's never been about regime change. Am I misreading this? Do you guys disagree? It's fine if you do. Just let me know what you think about all this, because it looks great to me. I shake my head. I don't know how to respond to something like that. So they struck a hangar in that port. We talked about that earlier. And a sea drone attempted to target an oil tanker near the port. So it looks like the Houthis are targeting ships again in the Red Sea. I could get a headache. My blood pressure goes up from this nonsense. It really does. What are you guys putting in here? Yet Iran says they continue to produce longer range munitions. But that's claims, you know. Oh, if that's crazy. I don't think they have that capacity to allow them to reach deep into the United States. See, this is a threat right here. A senior Iran cleric, if this is true, that he said this on Friday, we are preparing ourselves so that the American people too will see what it's like to be hit by missiles and understand what it means to be left in blood and destruction. Then right now, during the Friday prayer leader in southwestern city of Oz, then I'm going in on fucking destroying them completely. That's it. That's it. That's it. He said Iran's missiles could already reach deep into Jerusalem. Well, that would be a stupid thing if you're reaching into Jerusalem, where the mosque, one of the most holiest sites of Islam, is. Leading chants of revenge. He expressed hope that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu would be destroyed by Iranian forces. This is what we're fucking dealing with. The same people that were saying negotiating with. You cannot negotiate with these people. And that article just contradicts exactly what's going on in Iran right now by these clerics and the talk of the mouse possibly being dead and replaced with a more extreme radical jihadist. What is going on here? I don't want to be gaslit. I'm serious. I don't want to be gaslit. Thunderstorms. Okay, I already read that. The Federal Appeals Court blocking the ballroom. A cat is walking across the driveway. One of the cameras picked up a cat walking on the driveway. That's crazy. That just happened. That's funny. Anyway, that is crazy. That is crazy. And it just gets more crazy. Yeah, I already went over that. But that it's a paper agreement with Turkey and Pakistan. I already went over that, but thank you, Diesel, for putting that in chat. The Houthis are playing the same game as Bibi. You know, I was thinking about that last night a little bit. What if Israel helped the Saudis by striking the Houthis? It's not striking Iran. Would that be a line too much to cross? It's not like the Israelis haven't done it before. What if, and that would show some type of an alliance. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but Israel is more than capable of launching against the Houthis. They've done it numerous times. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, I guess Turkey's like, we're going to be the ones to help defend Saudi Arabia, to exclude that possibility. Because Turkey and Israel are not on good relations right now, to say the least. So I'm still curious about this mouse thing. I'm really curious about this mouse development. We have to keep an eye on that. But I'm not going to stay on much longer because I do want to mow this lawn eventually. That's 4 hours ago. And even like what you put in chat earlier, I don't know who it was. And hello to Anne. Good morning. I'm going to go to the start and catch up. You have a great Friday and great weekend too, Anne. Turkey maintains an estimated total of 322 ballistic missiles, representing the 7th largest inventory globally. I had to read what Debs is writing. I take Ubers all the time. I don't see one American driving that shit, and they're all from because I talk to them. Well, it depends on where you live. I mean, it does depend where you live, because a lot of them live locally. Over here, they're normal. They're all ethnicities. White, mostly Hispanic. But I have not seen anything odd about Uber drivers here. Just saying, not for here. Not yet, at least. But it is spreading about that hardliner. But this was reported hours ago. Or even OSINT, they put it out there about him. What is this? I don't know what to make of this. But they're saying it's coming from Israeli media about the mouse. According to Channel 14, one source cited the Jerusalem Post, would not be surprised if we heard news of his martyrdom soon. But a lot of this is coming from Israeli media. That's what it seems like about the mouse. I don't know. I got to see how this goes throughout the day. See, this is going back though in time, because they were questioning. It's always been questioned about his physical location and capacity, and that some people were saying this in chat that he was not in Iran. I've seen that in chat a few times. But even the president of Iran, in a state interview, that direct interaction with the mouse is currently very difficult. But this is going back a little in time, that the president said that Iran's top military leadership had been eliminated, claiming that Khamenei was 90% gone and incapacitated following the military campaign. I don't know. We're going to have to see how this develops, if at all. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we're going to have to wait to see how that develops, if at all. I'm not counting on that at all. But there are a lot of, even OSINT put it out there, but they're just grabbing it. That's what the media does. They feed off what the other media said and they just spread it like create wildfire. That's what they do. All right, Vahid just put something out. Oh, Besant. Oh, they put something out related to Besant. What did he say? He was being interviewed by, that was an Israeli outlet, Channel 12 News. That's what that interview was from. The U.S. Secretary of Treasury said on Friday that an agreement with Iran for the ceasefire and opening of the Strait of Hormuz could be reached today or tomorrow. We heard that Tuesday. 2. Speaking to 12 News Network, Scott Bessent referred to the dire economic situation in Iran, said, I think we will soon, perhaps even today or tomorrow, see an agreement for a 30 or 60-day ceasefire and the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. Energy prices also need to come down. That sounds more like market manipulation than anything else. He emphasized that the United States will never allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons, and that as a result of U.S. military operations and severe sanctions against Iran, they are facing a 150 to 180% inflation rate on food, and they can no longer afford to pay the salaries of their military personnel. Besant also spoke about the state of Iran's military infrastructure, saying that the Air Force has been destroyed. The same thing you hear. The Navy has been destroyed. And a large part of their missiles, and more importantly, their ability to produce missiles, has been eliminated. That's a little odd, what's going on in Colombia. Because something could be going down in Colombia soon, too. Roughly 11,000 members of the Colombian military forces and national police secured the metropolitan area of Cali by land, river, and air. By land, river, and air for the presidential inauguration of Abelardo de la Espriella at the Universidad Santiago de Cali area. The Colombian Aerospace Force maintained an active surveillance shield with fighter jets, helicopters, and counter-drone systems to neutralize unauthorized aircraft. What's that about? What are they so worried about? Southern Spear was doing drills similar to what they did in Venezuela. They've been doing some drills. Do they fear that they're going to go in and try to swoop this guy up? Or is it Raul Castro next? I don't know. Something is coming other than Iran. I think it's Cuba, but we might all think it's Cuba. It might be something else. Total speculation. I'm just saying. There's some wild stuff going on elsewhere. What's up, Moses? Oh, I don't know about that. Channel 14 again? I don't know, man. I don't think this is wise. He's a former national security advisor. I mean, we could play the clip. Let's just play the clip. Thank you, Diesel. Because it's translated. I'm going to shut up now.
ישראל צריכה קודם כל לשמור, אנחנו צריכים לשמור לעצמנו את חופש הפעולה שלנו. בגלל שביחסינו עם ארצות הברית, שהיא ידידה גדולה וחזקה וכולי, מתקיים פחות או יותר השיר של יהודה עמיחי, שנינו ביחד וכל אחד לחוד. שנינו ביחד בעיקר בשבע ההגנתי, המדינתי וכולי, אבל אנחנו לחוד במובן שאנחנו אין לנו ברירה אלא להכניע את איראן. ארצות הברית לא מנסה להכניע את איראן, היא מנסה משהו מין הסדר תועלתני כזה, היא תמיד תעדיף הסכם תועלתני על מלחמה צודקת. מה שטראמפ, אני לא רוצה להגיד לא מבין, אלא מתעלם, הוא שאיראן גרעינית היא איום על שלום העולם. היא לא רק בעיה של המזרח התיכון ולא רק בעיה שלנו, אבל אנחנו היחידים שעומדים בחזית הזאת ומבינים שטרור לא ניתן לנצח, אלא על ידי איום על עצם קיומו. וברגע שזה מדינת טרור, זה אומר שאתה צריך לאיים על עצם קיום המשטר בה.
I always said Israel had the right idea about the regime itself. They've always had that. Take out the regime. From day one. But if they act unilaterally, I don't know if the president is going to be there for them. Especially if he's working on a deal with Iran. I don't know. I honestly don't know. With that person that was Iranian, did you see that clip? And he's putting it straight, bluntly, but honestly, putting out the threat of the ideology. That was excellent that Tusi put that out there. That was a excellent thing that he put yesterday on his stream, to me at least. Coming from a person that's Iranian and putting it out there, that was excellent. I felt it. I mean, the passion, the truthfulness of what he was saying, that was powerful. But yeah, but now you had the next generation, they're freaking nuts. This radical extremist ideology has existed for decades. To say that they're going to be more freaking nuts, they're already nuts. I don't know how much more nutty you can get, Debs. This is not new. You got to remember, Iran, the proxies, it's all about the resistance. That's what they call it. They do not recognize Israel. It's occupied territory to them. They will never, ever accept that. And they want to see Israel destroyed because they see it as illegitimate. That's Palestinian. That's not going to change. From fucking day one, there have been wars, 6-day wars. There's been all kinds of clashes in this region for decades. This is not new. It is their objective to destroy Israel. It's that simple. They will never, ever, ever recognize that as a legitimate country, a state, never. That's why they call it the axis of resistance, the proxies. But their ultimate goal is the destruction of Israel. Always has been. So, this is not a new ideology. This has existed for decades. And it's indoctrinated generation to generation to generation. And you have a lot of people that are manipulated, coerced, brainwashed all over the world. So I know it was dormant, but now it's awake. Well, when a situation like this occurs, you start to see the awakeness happening. I mean, you're dealing with the head of the snake here. That's logical. We have to be concerned about things that happen in our country, which I'm sure our agencies are on top of it, credible threats. I lived in New York City. It's always a threat, going back decades. I was there for 93 when the Brooklyn fucks and the Jersey people, they all conspired to take out the Trade Center the first time. That was 93. This is not new. This has been going on forever. As long as I can remember, we've always lived under that threat, especially in New York City. Subways, bridges, everything. Times Square, God only knows how many times they diffused stuff in Times Square. This is not new. This has been going on for a long time. It's just being more under a magnifying glass now. The threat has always existed. What about these Islamic camps upstate they're talking about? Is that, again, I can tell you stuff that I'm aware of that I don't want to discuss because I don't know if they're still doing it. I shouldn't even say it. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I shouldn't talk about it. I'm being very careful here. And it's crazy. It's a true story. I think I better not talk about it. Shortly after 9/11, it was either in 2003 or 2004, I provided a tip to NYPD on a contact that I was talking to. This was not an Iranian. It was not. It was actually coming from a Native American. And this person told me for $1 million, they would smuggle in a dirty bomb over the Canadian border into the US. Because there are some Native Americans that have a hate for the United States based on the past. This is a true story, by the way. I'm being very careful. After I provided my tip, a few weeks later in the New York Post, they were putting up detectors along reservations on the Canadian-US border. That's a true fucking story. So, and that's just something I could talk about. I can tell you this is way deeper than you realize. It's not just the stereotypical Muslims doing these things. Oh, no. This was back in 2003 or 4. This is over 20 years ago, right after 9/11. So yes, we always pick on the stereotypical this, but it's much bigger than you realize. The threat, and that's a true fucking story. And I'm being very careful. Happy Friday, Mark. Unfortunately, too many Americans are apathetic as long as their sports ball is on television and they piss flavor beer is cold. They could care less what goes on. A lot of people, Thomas, are focused on their everyday lives. They're so, and I can't blame people. They are thinking about their own self-interests, going to work, coming home, eating, spending time with the family. I don't even know how many are actually tuning into anything at any given time. So they may be aware of something going on here or there, but do they do the research to know exactly what's going on? They might just hear it and take it for what it's worth from whatever legacy media they're hearing it from, and that's it. It's on the TV in the background. But do they really know what's going on? Like, do they do the research to really understand what's going on? Probably not. They're too busy with their everyday lives of function, taking care of the family or themselves and, you know, the things that are important to them. It's not just watching sports and drinking beer. But I get what you're saying. But, yeah. And yes, Americans are being radicalized. Think of ISIS. Think how many people from across the country or Canada or around the world went to volunteer as mercenaries for ISIS overseas. I'm talking to Debs now. This is complex. This is complicated. You know what I mean? Most states' fusion centers and federal groups are well aware of the local threats and are monitoring everything. You better believe that. Thank God for that. Thank God for our FBI and other agencies. I'm telling you. Local police, state police, federal. Thank God. I think we underestimate the importance of the role they play in preventing things happening. They deserve the utmost respect. They are providing security for us. They're keeping us safe as much as they possibly can. I don't think that people realize how serious this is. And we're not even aware of the everyday threats. shit going on and we don't hear about it. And we should thank them every day, every minute, for what they do for all of us, keeping us safe. I'm telling you. And like, who was it? Diesel said it? Diesel, you're on the money. Based on my own personal experience, I think we need to give ourselves a lot more credit than we do. I'll just say that. I already see another adversaries are funding and offering funds to so many different groups to attempt to and complete attacks. Absolutely. You got to remember, and I hate to say this, it's always about money. If you have an American with certain history, behavior, grievances, they're down and out, they're vulnerable, they're susceptible to be recruited. Throw money. I mean, that's how vulnerable. There are a lot of people out there that are like that out there. It doesn't take much. The influence campaign, the brainwash campaign, the manipulation campaign, and a lot of it happens through social fucking media. It's just not the media, it's social media. This is dangerous. And they get riled up. And they decide whether on their own as lone wolves or through interaction with adversarial groups, organizations, etc. For some people, it don't take much. They're weak. They have weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and they zone in on those vulnerabilities and they exploit that. That's just the sad reality. And it could be any American out there. It could be your neighbor. That's why I don't like to stereotype, because it could be anyone. You have all this mind control and everything. I don't trust anything, anyone, anything. We were talking about that yesterday, about that. The mistrust. It's almost to the point of paranoia. And the faith is so important. A person's personal faith is very important. Whatever it is. As long as it's in a positive, loving, compassionate, positive way. I respect all faith. That's a person's choice. It's the radicalization and the extremism. I go back to something that Trump has said. He doesn't want to kill people. Could this mean the reason he doesn't want to ramp up? Absolutely. He's concerned about civilian casualties and our own. It depends. I mean, if you're going, you got to remember the book, the playbook, they're embedded in populated areas, in civilian populated areas. They're not stupid. That's the playbook for decades. Look at the proxies. Hospitals, mosques, schools. You don't think they're doing it themselves? And if you target it, you're going to cause a lot of casualties to civilians. It's not a good thing. Inflation is so much larger than most people truly realize. Well, that's a debate too, Diesel, on how they're trying to manipulate and control the numbers in the market to not really reflect what's truly going on. JFK is the president, and the press speech is still relevant to this day. Good morning, Emanuelo. So again, hello, Mom. Like I mentioned before, the enemy is within that's trying to overtake our country, and I still believe they're wanting to turn the country communist. That's an opinion. Other people will say they're trying to turn the country into a fascist authoritarianism country. The country's so split. That's why I always say it would be great if people come together and communicate and stop demonizing and having conversations, because that's what's going on. It's the demonization of other sides. You know, we have to come together. At some point, we have to come together, because this is not going to lead down a good path in general for the country. Putting fear porn out there, propaganda, demonizing, saying this, it's scaring people. I'm all about bringing people together, not dividing it more. That's why I do what I do too. As a moderate, that's very difficult. Very difficult. It's not just important to talk, it's important to listen. But listen without ignoring what you're hearing. Like, to really listen. That's difficult these days. It really is. You know, it's... And other countries will exploit that. Knowing that the divisiveness, they will exploit that. I mean, like I said, we might have to do future streams, just not like on Iran, but pick a topic and get into that one specific thing and discuss it, because there's so much out there to discuss. All right, hold on. I'm gonna get off soon because I got things to do. How long have I been streaming already? They keep talking about the Turkey, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia deal. That's what they're all talking about right now. Where is this coming from? Is this coming from Iranian-backed resistance? Yeah, it is. It's coming from them. In response to the call of the martyr, the Mujahid, and in appreciation of the honorable stances taken by some righteous political leaders, it has been decided to postpone the response that was scheduled for today. We reaffirm that the pure blood of the martyrs will never be a commodity in the market of political calculations. We call upon those who sit in their chairs, violating blood and sovereignty, to reconsider their actions and return to the right path. Let the American enemy and its allies in the region know that the blood of our martyrs and wounded is the fuel of our steadfastness. Sovereignty will not be restored through timid statements, but through the hands of the loyal who do not compromise on the sanctity of the land or the honor of the martyrs. This is coming from the Islamic resistance of Iraq. I thought so. So they just put out this statement. They were planning, I guess, to do something, but they postponed it. That's what they're claiming. It's all over now. It's spreading everywhere. They're spreading it like crazy right now. Yeah, they're spreading it all over. This statement all over the place. All the Iranian Telegram accounts are posting the same thing, which I just read from the Islamic resistance in Iraq. This just came out. A statement. I just read to you the translation. But they're spreading that all over the place. Anyway, they say they will destroy the U.S. from within, and that is what we are starting to see. Well, look at other countries. Look at the UK. Look at other examples. And look at, like Debs was saying, look at what's going on in some of the states. I'm just saying. Hell no, ever, ever, ever is Sharia law to be implemented anywhere in this fucking country. You want to do that? Go back to your country. That shit is not happening here. Don't even think about it. You have to abide by our laws, our ways. That is not acceptable. Sorry. I see no problem if you want to go to a mosque or whatever and pray and do your religious, but to say you're going to put in Sharia law into our communities? Oh, fuck no. No. Claim Israel has raised alert level due to worried about surprise attack by Iran. Holy shit. I mean, this is the United States of America. You abide by our laws, our principles, our morals, and our Constitution. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. But you're not bringing your bullshit here. Like I said, the freedom of religion, all that, I'm all for that. But when you start crossing lines and boundaries like Sharia law, you're going to implement that shit in our country? Oh, that's a no. Sorry. Just in, Israel has recently raised its alert level due to fears of surprise Iranian attack. Well, we'll see if that's just rhetoric, or I would have to see more of that. And we're here trying to stop it, and we're struggling. I heard my whole life that China was going to take over the United States from within. I never really paid attention, but I always heard it. Well, do you realize how for decades how much China has gobbled up real estate, investing in corporations and everything else? That's a takeover. Look at Canada. Look at Canada with China. That's how they're doing it. I remember that since I was a kid. They're buying up all kinds of real estate in New York City. I've been hearing that shit since I was a kid too. Look what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan. Exactly. That's why I said in some states. It's off the hook. It really is. Like China from the WWE. I saw that. China's been spreading across South America, trying to convince people in all areas they've spread to. They're everywhere. And that's why that's another thing that needs to be addressed in the future. The influence here in North America, Central America, South America. And you hear people say the Don Road Doctrine, Monroe Doctrine. Well, there's still a high probability that an attack on the civilian population occur. Unfortunately, Moses, they're going to try to inflict as much death and destruction to Israel as they possibly can. And Don't be surprised they go after your nuclear facilities to cause chaos if they were to hit nuclear facilities. They're going to target that infrastructure. And I just hope that Israel is prepared to defend against a barrage. Because it's not going to be fucking 5 or 10. They're going to launch a fucking barrage. And now that they think that Jordan is decimated as far as air defenses that had that layer of defense to protect Israel, and we see that our bases were hit, how much of the Patriots have been used, how much, that was a layer to protect Israel as well. Because how many times did we hear they were intercepted before they even reached Israeli airspace? Well, a lot of that could be compromised now. Israel may be very vulnerable. You better hope Arrow, Iron Dome, Iron Shield, Iron Beam, all that is ready to go, because it could be coming, and Israel needs to prepare for that. Shit, I forgot to take my Manjaro. I'm not going to do that on the screen. I gotta go to the bathroom. Get an alcohol pad. And I'm going to get off soon. All done. I almost forgot to take it. And we all know what Israel's capable of doing. But my God, it could be catastrophic for Israel. Catastrophic. It's so easy to say, let them attack, let them do it, we're going to hit them. But when, God forbid, the casualty numbers come in and the destruction, this is not something anybody wants to see happen. For real. I don't want to see happen. God forbid. Oh my God, God forbid. Oh, it did. You did. I know about that. But somebody said they raised it up again. Yeah, I put the photos of that earlier, Diesel. I don't know if that's AI. I don't know what the hell. We are going to raise our alert level in Israel this Sunday. The news is true. Israel and Iran were allies. Yes, Bong. How do we get back to that? Remove the fucking regime. And have a new transitional government to establish peace again between Israel and Iran. That's the way. The regime must fall. Reza Pahlavi said it already numerous times, that if he was part of a transitional government, he would immediately recognize the state of Israel. That's a fucking game changer immediately. That's an immediate game changer. Proxy money dries up. All this Houthi stuff and everything else in the region will eventually dissipate and die out, because they'll have nobody to back them up. That's how important this is for the region, geopolitically, in so many ways. But I don't know if we're going to get there. The regime must fall. If the regime falls, stability, at least a chance of stability and peace in the region can exist. Right now, as long as that regime exists, and we might have a new mouse that's worse than anything that we can imagine, until that's resolved, this is not going away. No matter what deal we make, no matter what we do, it's not going to change anything, because the regime, but they don't have their missiles and their navy, all this. So what? They'll regroup, they'll rebuild, and they'll prepare. And God forbid they do get that nuke. Then what do we do in the future? All right, so it's going to take them a couple of years to rebuild, like they're not doing it already underground? Oh, so we're going to take that as a win? A win for what? A win for now? What about the future? Especially if you have an administration that won't deal with the issue direct. What are we going to do? Just push this again down the line? It makes no sense to me. And I know a lot of us here, like Marianne, people that have been here for a long time, I thought this was going to be regime change. And from the beginning. To help the Iranian people take their country back. They have to take their country back, but give them the opportunity to take their country back. Arm them. Decimate the IRGC, Basij, police forces, regime. That's what I thought this was about. You know what I mean? What? Launches being loaded. Nothing. It's quiet. I've been watching. Nothing. Yeah, Diesel. I shared those photos earlier. American foreign policy has never been long-term. It's always been short-term. That's why America always... And another thing, too, is the problem here is, Thomas, when administrations flip, so does foreign policy. It's hard for another country to rely and depend on a certain foreign policy when in 4 years it can be flipped. And then in the following 4 years it could flip again. So it's not like a steady course of foreign policy because it depends if it's a Republican administration, a Democratic administration. It seems like each one changes the terms and the course. It's confusing because, like I said, 2.5 years from now, we could be dealing with a totally different situation. And a lot of these countries are like hesitant to do anything because they're saying, well, the president only has 2+ years left. We could wait this out and see what happens in 2.5 years. And let's see who the next administration will be. This is the problem. There's no steady course. It changes, it flips. 1 minute there's a deal, the next minute there's no deal. Now we're working on another deal. The next administration, if it's Democrat, might say this deal is bullshit. You know, that's the problem. Inconsistency. So we have to see. What's up, Marco? All this is exactly why we need not to negotiate with any agreement and continue with our foot on the gas to take them out 100%. I agree. Totally agree. Yeah, I checked. True Social already. So it's like somebody put in here earlier. It's anyone's guess, opinion, how this is going to end. God only knows what the end game is here and how long that's going to take. Anyone can guess, and their best guess is viable. Right now, it seems everything's quiet because they're waiting for the official release of the agreement between Iran and Oman regarding the Strait. That's what it seems like everything is waiting on right now, to see the details. And when the Strait is officially opened by Iran and Oman, and under what terms. Because Iran threatened the United States today saying, back off of putting pressure on Oman or we're never going to open the Strait. So it looks like there's pressure being applied to Oman to agree to something. I don't know what the hell is going on, but that's what was said earlier by a parliament member. And what they mean by that is they'll just keep targeting ships. Every time they take the U.S. southern route, no, we're not allowing you. We'll just target you. And if you notice, there's been ships targeted already the past few days, confirmed by UKMTO, and the United States has done nothing. Though he said he would take harsh action if they did. So they're looking at it as empty threats. He's all talk, no action. But when the president is quiet like this, that's when you need to pay attention. And I said this the other day, yesterday or the day before, stop talking. Stop putting things on Truth Social. Say nothing. Don't react. Don't comment, because they're watching everything you say. And they're going to try to humiliate you and embarrass you when you say, oh, it'll be open by tomorrow or Wednesday. And it doesn't. And then you're stuck like, don't say anything. Action speaks louder than words. And I don't get it sometimes. He had this problem in his first administration with Twitter before it was X. Remember how he would post things? I was like, oh my God, why is he doing this? He needs to not do diplomacy through social media. He needs to refrain from being impulsive and just let things do things behind the scenes. Don't say a fucking word and take action, whatever action that is. That's my opinion. So maybe, he's being quiet for a reason. Maybe he's being more tactful. I hope he is. Like I said, let Iran do all their bluster and rhetoric and all that. Let them talk. Let them say whatever the hell they want to say. Talkish bullshit. Actions speak louder than words. And then, just do it. Don't announce it. Don't threaten. Don't say it's Stone Age, World War II. Stop it. Don't say anything. Let them keep talking. Then you react. That, to me, that's just me. But doing your foreign policy on social media is just not smart in any circumstance. That's why you do diplomacy behind closed doors. You don't put it out in public. They discuss the terms. They negotiate. This is like fucking reality TV. Seeing diplomacy play out on social media. Since when does that ever worked? So, I don't know. I would be more tactful, strategic. Whoa. What's this? I'm gonna get off in a few minutes because I'm a little drawn. I'm a little tired, and I haven't even had anything to eat yet. I'm gonna hit the air fryer. What? The U.S. State Department has announced that it has taken action to dismantle a network of currency exchange houses and shell companies that helped Iran move hundreds of millions of dollars through the international financial system. The networks allowed Tehran to access oil revenue and evade sanctions. The United States has taken decisive action to cut the financial lifelines that sustain Iran's ruling elite. Spokesman Tom Pigott? I don't know who that is. You guys might know. So you see how money finds a way? They're trying to find the holes, how Iran might be still getting money and evading the sanctions. So that's good. Yeah, just don't talk. Just take action. Stop talking. That's my opinion. Just do it. Don't even feed into their bullshit. And just, you could say something 1,000 times over. It's like you don't have to try to convince anyone anymore. Because everybody's heard the same line over and over and over and over again. They have no navy, they have no aircraft, they have no missiles, all that shit. We've heard it 1,000 times over. I don't think there's any reason to say that over and over again, like you're going to convince somebody new. That's one. To restate the obvious. Just deal with the situation. Chris, I personally don't trust enforcers. They're all about making money. Well, that's all. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to talk about other platforms. I've never seen anyone laugh at their... Oh, okay. That's more to deal with that. I disagree. I want it all live streamed so we can see. You guys know that clickbaiting, rage baiting, exaggerations. That's just part. It's always been a part, and it's just not dealing on this subject. It deals with everything else too in general. The hype. That's not new, you know. It is what it is. I try to keep it real as much as possible. And yes, I voice my opinions. Whether people disagree, it's respectful. And I listen to what everybody says. And I'm not going to demean or put anyone down because they have an opposing opinion than I do. Everybody has that right to voice their opinion. You may not like it, you may love it. What, am I supposed to attack somebody because they have an opposing opinion? Is that what it's about? No. And we could talk about it in detail. Why? Okay, so I understand your point. Let's have a discussion on it. And even if you look at, and I'm not trying to bring this up for any specific reason, but other than about communicating with people, Charlie Kirk, you may have liked him or disliked him, whatever it is. He was going out there and engaging really with the younger demographic, but he was out there engaging in conversation and taking questions from people, and they were having a dialogue. Though they may have disagreed, but they're having a discussion, a dialogue, which is important. Communicating with each other, having a conversation. You can express your opinions, I'll express my opinions. Let's have a discussion. And it's sad and tragic, but the people that are trying to do that, unfortunately, are the ones they're trying to silence. Which is fucking scary in itself. There's no reason why people can't have a civil discussion on any specific topic, voicing their opinions in a respectful way. There's no reason that cannot exist. It's always been. So, do you know what I mean? And that's why I wrote that song, Weeping Dove. I was inspired, sadly, tragically, by what happened, but I made it about being in general. It has to stop. What's it gonna take? What is it gonna fucking take for people to realize this has to stop? I mean, really. If the things, and like I said, it could be things that happen on either side. Congressmen being killed, representatives, president assassination. What happened to Scalise when he was out there and they did that? I mean, even if you don't like it, people trying to burn Shapiro in his home. Political violence in general. On all fucking sides. It has to stop. There has to be a better way. And the only way that really starts is with communicating and listening to each other. That's the way it used to be when I was young. Like Reagan, even during the Clinton years, with Boehner, Newt Gingrich, even going back then, they may not have agreed, but they would have dinner together, They would go golfing together. You don't see that today. It's so detached. It's so divided. Even back then, they communicated with each other. That's what I remember. How different it was then than it is now. As an example. You know what I mean? Mom, have a great one. Love to you and your family. And yes, it's been about fiscal conservatism. Look, I was a fucking full blown out liberal Democrat while I lived in New York City. There's just no doubt denying that. But I grew up in that environment. I mean, the president at one time was a Democrat. Limited time, but he was. I moved here and I changed over time. It took time. But I'm an independent. And based on my environment, I'm right in the middle. But because of my environment, being honest, I lean right. Before, I was a fucking lefty. Like most of my fucking life, I was a lefty in New York City. And more people, I think, are becoming independent. But I still respect opinions across the board. But it puts me in a really tight situation. You know, it puts me in a position. It's not an easy position to be in. And I'm just being dead honest. A lot of people might play a game of projection and pretending to be something. They're phony. Oh, and some of them are real, authentic. So when you brought up that conversation about clickbaiting and all that other stuff, the one thing I could say, I'm not going to lie to myself. And if I'm not lying to myself, obviously I'm not lying to all of you, because I'm actually not going to lie to myself on my own personal opinions. Then I'm lying to myself. That makes no sense. How could I lie to myself and pretend to be something else that I'm not, just for attention, for clicks? That is really pathetic. Then you have issues with your own self-character. How do you fucking look at yourself in the mirror being a phony? Some people could live with that. You know what I mean? So, no. Ain't happening. And trust me, I know I piss people off. It's not intentional, but I know some of the things I say, people are like, fuck, Bill, what's up with that? I get it. But at least I'm being honest. And I'm not perfect. I'm not a person that's going to sit and say, I'm right all the time, you're wrong. No. There's a lot of things that you guys say in the chat that make me think. And I'm saying, shit, that's a valid point. I need to think about this more. It makes me aware. It makes me think. I'm not going to be like a puppet strung along. I want to hear people's opinions. I want to absorb that. It's from 6 days ago, that video. Typical YouTube 6. That happens to me too. I get notifications that are old. Anyway, you lovelies, I hope you understand what I was saying. And I don't want to offend anyone. But at the same time, I'm not going to bite my tongue and hold back from the passion within. If that makes any sense. Look, if I want to go someplace that I want to hear everything I want to hear, there's plenty of that out there. If I want to be fed what I want to be what I want to hear and go rah rah all day long, sure, there are places I could go watch and see that. if that's what interests me. But I like to be objective. I like to hear, I want to see like the full mosaic. I want to see, try to figure out the bigger picture, the whole picture. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to get like a objective perspective of the whole thing, not just segments and narrow vision, narrow pieces. Because like anything else, there's flip sides. And as everything else, it's not just simply black and white. I hate to use that. But there's a lot of gray area too. And the sow of doubt. Credibility, misinformation, fake news, propaganda, all that. It's almost like the old saying, somewhere in the middle lies the truth. But these days, I don't even know if that's true. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth. I don't even know if that's even true. So, Jesus. We're in that's the kind of thing we're dealing with right now. Question everything. You believe everything you're told? Do you not look into it deeply and do the research to see that the shit that they're shoveling is true? Do you not try to see if there's any credible foundation, relevance to what is being told? Or do you just take it for what it's worth and run with it? It ain't so simple for me. Never, these are all discussions we have to have and share different points of view. So many channels block people. Fuck that. I don't mean what you just said, Diesel. I agree. They're so quick to jump on people. I mean, what is wrong with... I mean, it would be... We don't have that here, thank God. Thank God we don't have that yet. Where if you say, I support President Trump 100%, then you'll get another person saying, they'll throw something else to with rhetoric and disparaging. Okay, you may love the president or you may dislike the president, but God, my God, keep it fucking respectful. Right away, they'll throw something in cray-cray in there to stir shit up and create. Then the whole chat turns into that discussion. The back and forth vitriol between the two sides, and it turns into a fucking shouting match and nothing to do with what the person is discussing on any specific podcast. Now it turns into some crazy spun out nonsense in chat that is meaningless. It's like kids in a playground type of deal. You know what I'm saying? The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for... Yes. And the AI is making it really bad. So, all are welcomed here. Just keep it respectful. And a lot of us have a lot of passion. And you have to respect that passion. And like I said, for me in the middle, it might be a little bit easier in that way. It might be a little easier for me that way. Because I get it. I get what you're saying. And yes, we have people that are on the left, and I get what they're saying when they keep it to the topic and subject matter and make a valid point on either side. It's always been that way as a democracy. We have difference of opinions on political party standing. It's always been that way. That's okay. But today it's as dysfunctional as ever. Like I said, you look at the past, decades ago. Yes, they had difference in their politics, but they still talk to each other and they try to work through these things and come to some kind of a compromise for the betterment of the country as a whole. Now it's like, you're the fucking evil people, we're the patriots, you're the evil, you're the devil, you're a bunch of worshipers. I never heard any of that shit back in the 80s or even in the 90s. Never. We demonize each other. When you don't, like, look how many families, friends, relationships have gone sour based on politics. I never saw that happen in the past. It kind of makes me bug out. Like, wow, you let politics get in between a family? People you love? That were with you your whole life? And because they differ in opinion, now you've discarded them based on politics? Oh my God. But that's how it is. Because there's no communication. I'm right, you're wrong. And that's it. You're one of them. I can't talk to you. Another day, another potential deal. So here we try to have a conversation and come together, though we may disagree. That's just fine. But at least we do it civilly and respectfully. That's it. All right. Debs, you have a great one, because I'm going to get off anyway soon. That's why everybody's divided. No one respects anyone's opinion. Back then, no one knew who you voted for. I remember my mother telling us who she voted for. It was all a secret. Well, again, social media does not help that, Debs. Because a lot of people are emboldened to attack. Like the keyboard warrior type of deal. And it truly has become a rivalry game. And again, if we're thinking about the betterment of the homeland and the country, we have to find a way to live alongside each other and to compromise and solve issues. You just can't keep going on like this. There has to be a way to resolve issues. It's always been the way. Differences of policy, but come up with a way. Not everybody's going to get everything they want, and the other side's going to get everything they want. We have to find a way to solve it to the best of our ability for the betterment of the country. That's what I was just saying. So many keyboard warriors. So again, that's just my opinion. I'm getting off because, like I said, I've been on for hours. So it's time for me to take a break. I need to go eat, check on Mom, take the dog out, even though he already went out twice. I got things I got to do. But it's always great to see all of you. Thank you all for being here. Love to you and your families. God bless our country, our president, our troops, their families, all of you everywhere, wherever you are. And let's see how the day progresses. It is the weekend, so I don't know if anything's going to be different from the weekend. It's been too quiet. It has been too quiet. Too quiet. Something's amiss. When the president is this quiet, that's when you really, really better pay attention, because something may be coming. I know I've said that many times and have been wrong. But, there are other times when he goes quiet and then something happens and then he'll announce it afterwards. He's a little quiet right now. If I were Iran, I'd be real fucking careful right now. Because, precision weapons and all this other stuff is one thing. He may come in and carpet bomb your ass and do things that he's reluctant to do because he knows it's going to be a major escalation. It's going to do major damage, and sadly, tragically, people may lose their lives or will lose their lives. So I think that's the real hesitancy here, is to just take this to a whole nother level. Because once you do, there's no going back. And then you have to see how this all plays out then. So let's see what happens. That's what, my God. Exactly. Iran has been talking so much trash and spewing and thinking that they're in the driver's seat. And the president may be doing this on purpose to make them think they're in the driver's seat. And then here it comes. Boom. They are very emboldened right now. They're talking a lot of smack, a lot of shit. And he's quiet. And he's contemplating. And I honestly think he's probably really close to being fed up and taking action, taking it to the next level. Despite all the bullshit you hear about the stockpiles and all that stuff, he might unleash hell on Iran. And they are underestimating the superpowerness of the United States. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, love to all of you. Be well, be blessed, be safe. Have a great day wherever you are, to everyone. And maybe I'll see you later. Keep me posted. You know how to contact me, some of you. Keep me posted if you hear anything. I'll keep an eye too. So, love to all of you out there. And like I said, God bless our troops, their families, our country, the president, everyone out there. So till later on, peace. Later, Josh, and everyone else that's in chat and watching on the numerous platforms. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Have a great weekend if I don't see you.